Howdy folks, and welcome to this episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. You got to be asking yourself, why in the heck is he standing between two boats, an aluminum boat and a fiberglass boat? Well, I'm going to show you something. If you watch an earlier video I've had of testing the epoxies on gluing starboard to a gel coat surface and see which glue held up the best and all that stuff, I encourage you to check that out. It's an interesting video. Interesting to me, but it was interesting to see how well the epoxies held and what they actually did. So what I've got to do here today is I've got two transducers I need to mount. I've got one that's on this old SeaNymph here, if you watched the most recent videos, and you saw this rooster tail shooting up off the back of this thing. Somebody mounted this all wrong. Now the sad part is they already put 3 holes in the transom and it's mounted wrong. So I got to correct that. So I'm going to correct that by I had some leftover starboard. Use what you got, folks. I know it ain't pretty, it ain't the right color, it don't match anything. That doesn't matter. Functionality matters most. So I'm going to take this starboard here and I'm going to glue it onto the back of the transom. I'm going to take advantage of the glue and all and cover up the 3 holes that are there. Then I'll be able to raise and move the transducer mount to where it belongs, and I'll clue you in on that and show you how all that needs to be mounted to get it in the right position on the boat, so you don't end up having that stupid old rooster tail running up on the back of your boat. And this particular rooster tail was hitting the shift lever on the 25 horse, and I bet it put a half gallon of water in the boat just after going a couple miles. It's ridiculous. So I actually ended up unbolting it and running it without it, just because it was such a pain in the rear. So we're gonna get into this, and I'm gonna show you how to prepare both surfaces, both aluminum and fiberglass, so that you don't have, like in this boat here, I don't have any holes in the transom other than the drain hole. I don't want to add any other holes in the transom, so that's why I'm going to use this particular method. Now I would say that you can look up stern saver. There's some other drilless transducer mounts. I would encourage you to look those up. Those are engineered well. They engineered, I used some of that engineering to create this block itself. I've actually got 4 3/4 inch diameter holes. I've got a round ball burr that I use to create an undercut down at the bottom of these holes. That helps grab and hold on to that glue so it can't come off. That's very important because there ain't a lot that sticks to the starboard, folks. So you have to do that, so the glue actually creates its own little knot underneath there and just really holds on, and grabs that lip and holds on tight like a pit bull. So we're gonna do that. I'll see if I can get you a little close-up shot here. I don't know if this is gonna show up very well, but there's a counter bore, so to speak, down underneath here that creates an undercut, and that's what you want, is that undercut. You got to have that. But I highly encourage you to buy one versus make, and for this simple reason: cost. Not everybody has a chunk of starboard laying around, not everybody has screws laying around, not everybody has epoxy laying around, and 50 grit sandpaper laying around, and all that kind of fun stuff, and tape and whatever else it takes to mount this. With the kit, for like the one kit, I think it's $29 up to $48, depending on what size kit you buy and who you buy it from. Whether it's Amazon, Cabela's, or whoever sells these things, it's well worth the money. I'm just saying that. I encourage you to do that. If you do have the resources, like me, I have all this stuff laying around, so I just went ahead and made my own. All I had to do is buy some more of the epoxy that won the contest, and I'm going to use that to apply. So without further ado, let's get down here. I'm going to show you what's wrong with this boat and how the transducer is mounted, and then I'm going to show you the right way it needs to be mounted and approximately the location it needs to be mounted, and that's what you'll be gunning for. So without further ado, let's get this thing taken off, the old one taken off, and put the new one on right after I show you the ills. All right, I have to hold this little red flapper deal out of the way. So the one thing they did do right is they did get this not in line with one of the chines that are underneath the boat, or one of the ribs underneath the boat. It's in a smooth area, which is what you do want. What you don't want is what they did here. This is flat to the bottom of the boat. Right here, that's sitting to the bottom of the boat. On the top side of this scale, that's how much below where it's is set up right now below the bottom of the boat that it needs to be. You want this thing to be basically flush to a 1/16 inch below the bottom of the boat at maximum. You want to not have that create any turbulence or anything like that. So as you can see here, we got this thing off a good inch or so. So we got to raise this up a little ways. That's why I'm going to put the size block on it that I'm putting on it, so I can actually cover up the 3 holes they put in the back of this boat. And that way it'll seal those back off once I put the glue and everything in there. And then I'll have be able to raise this up enough so this lines out where it needs to be. I'll see if I can get you another angle here. Here again is another angle. You can see where the bottom of the boat is up here and the bottom of the transducer is clear down below the bottom of the boat by much too far. So let's get this one off and let's get the surface prepared, and let's glue our block on and mount it back in the right position. Then I'll show you the proper position. We're going to do the aluminum first, and then we're going to do the I got another transducer on the old banana here, the fiberglass boat. We'll do that second. Next thing you want to do is figure out the placement of your block. Once you've decided where you want your block to be, in order to be able to successfully mount your transducer, go ahead and mark that out. So that's where we want it to be. We're going to shift it over just a touch to get it a little bit further away from the motor, but that's where we want to be. Next thing we want to do is mask off this area. This will protect surfaces that you don't want to get glue and everything else on. Now you might ask yourself, why 50 grit? Because I want this surface to be really rough as it can be without being too rough, so it really bites into the glue, or the glue really bites into the surface. So according to what I've learned and watched, you want to take this down to bare metal. The next step you want to take is to take some, I'm using acetone here, but you can use an alcohol wipe. And you want to make sure that you scrub this down really good to get rid of any oils or anything off that surface, so you can get maximum adhesion. Now what I'm using here is some JB Clear Weld quick setting epoxy, 5-minute epoxy. This is the stuff that won my contest as far as strongest stuff. What you're going to discover is you're going to need to, most likely, from what I can tell and what I've experienced, is you'll use the whole tube. Now this particular piece of starboard has a protective coating on it, so that's a clean, squeaky clean surface there. So we're going to use that. I'm going to mix up the entire contents of this container for this job. Mix it up thoroughly. We're going to go ahead and fill each pocket to over full. On this plate. You want it to be over full. I'll see if I can get you a shot of that without making a mess out of myself. Then a little bit of excess you can spread around on the surface. Like I said, it doesn't really stick to the starboard, but it will stick to itself, which will help aid in adhesion. So you see that pretty much took that whole tube, and you see everything's overfilled, which is what you want. We'll spread this out just a little bit. Once you've got that overfilled, we'll go ahead and apply this. You got to be quick or it's going to run out on you. The excess will just run down, that's fine. We're just kind of pressing and working it around, working it in. And then I'm going to take this piece of I already took some tape here, and tore off some pieces so this one, I can use it to hold this in place for me. So now that's in place. We'll go ahead and put some more pieces of tape across here. This is just to secure things down and keep it held up tight against the boat until it cures. Now we got that securely taped in place. Now the nice thing is any excess glue I got on here is going to end up on the tape. And once this glue starts to set up and gets firm, I can actually peel off some of this tape if I want, but we're just gonna leave it there. I think we'll be all right. So we're gonna repeat the exact same procedure on the old banana here. Go ahead and put our mark on here. As you can see, I'm gonna take advantage of covering up this little gel coat patch I did there. Take your sandpaper. Now here we're not trying to get rid of any paint. We're just gonna scuff up the gel coat really well so things will stick. Here again, once you got it good and scuffed, take your alcohol wipe, or like what I'm doing in this case, your acetone, and let's wipe that clean. Just make sure we get all the dust and oils and anything else that might interfere with our glue adhering off of this. Now that we got a good, clean, grease-free surface, I'm actually going to wipe down the outside of this to get some of the wax off of it that I put on it, so the tape sticks a little better, hopefully. Same as before, I got another whole thing of epoxy I'm going to mix together here. Now we'll do as we did before. We're going to fill these pockets up with glue, full to overflowing. This glue seems to flow real nice, so you know it's not getting a big air pocket down there in the bottom where I don't need it. I need it to go up in that groove and bite into that groove nice and solid. Alright, once you got that in position, once again, we'll just let the epoxy do its job. Alright, we'll back out here a couple hours later. As you can see, the glue is set up. It's not completely firm. It takes 24 hours to be completely firm and cured, but it's stuck on there good enough now I can pull my tape. Alright, now what I'm going to do, now that I've got a clean slate to work with, I'm going to take this transducer and I'm going to eyeball it so it's flush to the bottom of the boat or just a hair below. And I want it about right in that area. So I can hold that. We'll just slide this out. And I'm going to put a hole right through here. Right there. Now that I've got my first pilot hole in, I'm going to go ahead and, I got stainless screws here I'm using. Just going to screw those right on in. All right, there you have it. I mean, that is, once that cures, that's going nowhere, folks. That is solid. I've got this down to the bottom of the boat. It should work great without kicking up that stupid old rooster tail. All right, let's do the fiberglass version of it. All right, we've got this one screwed in here, and we're just doing the final touches here. Got it where I want it. There we go. That's solid. It's going nowhere. It's coming right off the bottom of the boat. Just exactly how I need it. I am completely thrilled. We'll do a little wire management up here. And I think we're golden there, folks. I'm digging it. You know, I almost could have cut a groove back here and ran that transducer wire up the back. But we'll go with it for there for now. If I ever have to take it off, I'll do that. Well, there you have it, folks. We got both transducers installed now. We were able to patch up one hole in one boat and not put any new holes in another boat. and we got something that we can take it back on and off and maybe do holes in it. If we got a different transducer, we can do all kinds of fun stuff with it. So with that being said, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it was helpful. I'll report out later on in other videos if there's any failures. Otherwise, if no news is good news at that point in time. So I'm going to have this back out in the water tomorrow. Actually, the aluminum boat, we'll be testing out a 25 horse motor and a 9.9 that I converted to 15 horse. We're going to test both of those motors out tomorrow on the lake and be doing some video for that for you folks. I hope so. Stay tuned and don't miss out. Hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button so you can see when I drop another video, so you can be in the know along with me. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. I've had a good time doing this. I've got another task done on 2 boats that I've been wanting to get done, and now I can move on to other stuff. You guys get out there and have some fun, enjoy life. Don't let fear rule your life. This is Michael, and I'm out.